There. Oh. So, you know how to arrive. Do I need to say anything? Checking your space, checking the space around you, checking your inner space and your outer space. Letting the movement begin and seeing how each part of the body feels. Sort of moving, guided meditation on parts of the body. Weight-bearing parts of the body. Low back, hips, knees, ankles. Letting your weight drop down onto each foot as you shift your weight. Again, quite fun to playfully look at how your weight moves from one side to the other. You don't want to be a space cadet and let your body lift up into outer space at the end of every swing. And equally, you don't want to be drawn down into the earth and find that you're just dropping so much into the ground. So it's that magical middle space. Letting the mind's eye go out to that distant horizon. Whether that space between the sky and the earth is clear or whether it's misty, it doesn't matter. Letting the weight shift from one side to the other and letting your movement come from the core. Feeling the arms gently pulling on the shoulders. This initial arm swinging creates more of an opening, the arms drawing the shoulders apart, enabling the chest to move more freely. That's it. Feeling the weight of your fingers, your hands, gently opening up the wrists. Whole weight of your arms softening the shoulder joint, drawing the shoulders apart. How much of the horizon can you see? And then slowly letting each swing get a little less, a little less, a little less, until it disappears. Beginning to be present. Always makes me laugh how, with a group, I have to use willpower to stop doing that. I could do those arm swings for such a long time. On my own, I have to use willpower to make it last and take myself into that zone. Feet under the hips. Find a nice bit of uninteresting wall in front of your eyes. Knees soft. And the arms just tick-tocking. That's it. That's good. My arms feel a bit stiff for some reason, so they need lots of shaking. That's it. Not too big a swing to begin with. Small swing means there's more emphasis down on the soles of the feet. Each time you drop, feet being pushed against the carpet the floorboards, the yoga mat, the earth. That's it. Eyes still aware of that distant horizon. Closed or open, whichever allows the mind's eye to see that horizon more clearly. That's it. And then letting that swing get a little higher. Listen to those shoulders. Don't push the shoulder joint further than you feel comfortable. Elbows soft, wrists soft. That's it. That bigger but slower and more powerful movement. Not just pushing us against the earth, but really letting our roots sink down, helping us be here now, in the moment, in this place. And once you've really got those nice roots down as firmly as you can, then you can let the arms swing a little higher. Then you can extend upwards, knowing that your roots will keep you stable. Oh, I wish I knew whether or not you made the same sort of noises as I do. Opening up, helping the chest and the lungs breathe more deeply, helping the belly, the abdomen work more efficiently, and then letting the movement gradually subside. Gradually softening the movement. That's great. And as always, imposing. Am I speaking loud enough? Can you hear me clearly? Okay, good. The last sort of couple of weeks, it's been almost too hot to do whole body breathing. So I'd like to do whole body breathing just because I feel deprived of it. Nice wide stance and a glass of water if a frog gets in your throat. I know I've said it before, but whole body breathing, always do 2 or 3 breaths slowly before you go into the faster exhalation movements. So first off, just checking your physical space around you. Feet comfortably wide, but not so wide that your hands get in the way. My long arms can hit my thighs if I've got too wide a stance. So wide enough to feel stable and able to drop down, but not to interfere with the movement of your hands. Palms face back. Breathe in through the nose if it's clear, and let the breath out through the mouth. That's good. And then that imagery, breathing in to the lungs, to the chest, to the belly, to the little toes, the little fingers, to every single cell of the body. Breathe in and let the breath out. Just one more, focusing on the in-breath, and see if there are any neglected parts of the body, parts that you've forgotten about. They're behaving so well you don't notice them. Palms face back, breathe in, and just let the breath out. That's good. Now we can breathe out. So again, no matter how enthusiastic you are, don't do the forced out breath straight away. Let the body breathe out slowly to begin with, to prepare it for the forced exhalation. So, palms face back, breathing in. Hold the breath as the arms make a slow, big circle. Palms face up, and breathe out as you drop down. Palms face backwards, breathe in. Hold the breath and breathe out from every cell of your body. Breathe in. Hold the breath and breathe out. This time just breathe in and let the breath out. That's good. You can't help but feel more expansive with this movement. So now we'll do the forced exhalation, but only if that drop down felt safe in your back, your hips, and your knees. So remember, you're letting the whole body with the exhalation go, and make the noise. Try and imagine that even though you're muted, I can hear you. All right. So 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out, but stop if you begin to get lightheaded. All right. Palms face back. Breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. Last one. And out. And in, and let the breath out. Oh, that's great. Lovely way of arriving. And a little bit of, let's call it armist awareness, as opposed to physical awareness. I have a shiatsu client who's very tall, has very long arms, very long legs, and she was complaining about a yoga class where the teacher doesn't realize that it takes her longer to move into position because of her long arms and legs than a normal sized person. And I just realized it's the opposite way around, that quite often, because of my long arms, it takes me longer to get into a certain position, whereas you're already there. So let it adapt to your movement. Let's just calm the body down. Feet under the hips. And we'll go into that very gentle rotating around the central string of bones in the spine movement. So again, just whether physically or just in your mind, that image of letting the head be drawn up, the feet firmly stuck to the ground, spine just hanging loosely and rotating around that central string of bones in the spine, letting your head turn on the shoulders. That's it. And again, for some reason, my arms feeling very stiff today. They need more shaking and wriggling than usual. Waist leading each rotation. Waist drawing the hips round, knees following the hips. Little tiny stretch at the ankles. Not so much that you need to grip the earth with your toes. That's it. This softer rotation really allows the shoulders to drop, allows that awareness of the weight of our arms that hang off our shoulders all the time. Why make those neck muscles work and hold the shoulders up when they can just hang? Waist drawing the chest round. Shoulders following the chest. Head following the shoulders. Eyes following the head. Just smiling out of the corner of your eye at that little tiny bit of extra horizon you can see at the end of each rotation. Each rotation allowing the spine to soften a little bit more. The sky hook being able to draw the crown of the head gently upwards with each rotation, taking the weight of your head off your shoulders, weight of the upper body off the low back, whole body weight being lifted, lightening the workload the hips, the knees and the ankles have to make. And all the time the mind's eye aware of that distant horizon. That's it. And then gradually allowing the movement to reduce with each rotation, letting the movement gradually disappear until we find stillness. Don't really want to talk. I don't know if my mic is picking up the sound of the rain, but there's a lovely, gentle, but persistent sound of rain outside. Feet under the shoulders, arms just hanging. That lovely recharging position, Wu Qi. Receiving support from the earth, feeling how you touch the earth in this moment. If the day is full of appointments, things you have to do, there's a tendency for the front of the body to pull you forwards onto the toes of the feet. And that's fine, notice it. See if the body can just drop back onto the heels. See if the body can just be here for this time. Sometimes if what's following the class are things that you'd rather not do, the oughts of life, the shoulds of life, the body tends to pull back onto the heels. So again, just for the duration of this time, feel all of your feet, the balls of the toes, the heels, the outer edge, little toe going down to the heel, really letting your roots sink and expand. Skyhook keeping you light, feeling the breath. Feeling those sensations that allow you to know that you're breathing. Drawing Qi in, letting go of waste. If the chest wants to move, let it, but your attention is down on the belly. Soft breathing. Whenever life is rushing us and making us unstable, it only needs to be 2 or 3 breaths, that moment of pause to sink our roots. And listening to the rain, a slight going off at a tangent, a little quote I read recently which is attributed to Bob Marley, but I'm a bit dubious about these quotes being attributed to certain people. Some people feel the rain, other people just get wet. So when you're out in the rain later on today, give yourself permission to feel it. And in your own time, just let the chi appear between your hands. You know the shoulder rotations, so whenever that chi feels well enough, strong enough, present enough, whether imagination or not, let that ball of chi begin to draw your hands up. And just allow that movement of the shoulder rotation. The large ball of chi drawing your arms upwards, the two small balls supporting your arms down. The in-breath, allowing the large ball to draw your arms up. The out-breath, allowing the two small balls to support your arms down. If your body wants to breathe faster, the movement is faster. If your body wants to breathe slower, the movement is slower. Face soft. Each breath in, recharging, refueling. Each breath out, releasing. All the time, the crown of the head being drawn up by that golden thread, lightening, lengthening. All the time, the soles of your feet, your toes, your roots, receiving that ever-present support from the earth. Soft breathing. Not allowing the breath to become so deep that the belly is tense. Respect and kindness to those shoulder joints, not making the movement any larger than you can smile. Remembering to give yourselves permission to wriggle and fidget if any part of the body begins to tighten up. And we'll just do 3 more circles. And that last circle, allowing the ball of chi to bring your hands to a point of stillness. Give the shoulders a chance to realize they're not needing to do any work, allowing the elbows to hang. Soft breathing in the belly. And just let the hands slide on top and take the chi down into the earth. That's good. Quite nice. I remember to stop there. Yesterday with the Cancer-Wise group, I said we'll do 3 more circles. And about 12 circles later on, I realized we were supposed to be stopping. Now, straight into knee rotations. No martial knee rotations today. Just the usual Duan Jin. Allowing the sky hook to lower you down. As always, he says, turning sideways on, just make sure there isn't a temptation to be competitive and go down lower by leaning forwards. You're hanging. The eyes are still aware of that distant horizon. Letting the knees make those small, smooth circles. Keeping your roots intact. the soles of the feet firmly stuck to the ground. Don't worry if the knee or hip joints means that the circle is a little one-sided. Aim for smoothness. And if muscles start juddering or shaking, don't reprimand those muscles. Praise them for untangling themselves. Skyhook lifts, skyhook lowers. Roots being pushed into the earth. Toes spreading. Feet broadening and lengthening. Just 3 more circles in this direction. When you change direction and let the knees circle the opposite way, just make sure you don't frighten them. You don't make the circles too big to begin with. Once the knees know it's safe to move, then you can experiment with letting the circles get a little tiny bit bigger. Or if the body is tired or any part of the body is grumbling, make the movements a little smaller. Tiny, microscopic circles. Trust your body to know what it needs in this moment. Just 3 more circles. And then come back to the Wuchi position. Good. Oh, there we are. Just let the arms hang. Oh, who's that that's just appeared down there? Oh, hello. Lovely to see you. So, let's go straight into root cultivation. Again, use your own image. However you like to imagine that chi in the belly. The toes, let's cut my head off for a little while. There we are. That's good. Finding that place where your toes feel okay to bend. That's it. And just letting your weight drop down onto each root and feeling that connection. However your imagination makes it work, that connection. Nourishing chi in the belly, reaching your roots. That chi in the belly is so special. In the winter, it's warming, like nice winter vegetable broth. In the summer, it's almost like radiator fuel. It cools the system down. It cools hot feet down. So really let that core energy reach your roots. That backward flip. And again, be honest. If you need support, don't deny it. But if that support is just there, if you know you could put your hand on a wall, but you don't need to, again, it's there if you need it. Rolling the foot across the top of each toe, each root. Pausing long enough to feel that connection with the core. And then, I don't know why I always think sea shanties, but sort of heave ho mahatis. You lasso that big toe, pull it up gently and respectfully and powerfully, stretching the back of the knee, back of the calf, making sure the stretch makes you go, ooh, happy, ooh, not ow, and untangling. And then the other side. Again, you're not pushing, just letting your body drop its weight over, relaxed weight of a leg dropping down onto the base of each toe. Oh. And again, if you're on your own or if you're sharing space, let those groans and sighs out. Don't deny the body a good sigh. And flip the toes back. Support if you need it. Coming out of this position if it feels like the calf is going to go into a cramp. And then lassoing that big toe. Oh. Oh. And just opening up. Opening up. Ah. And shaking. Ah, how do your ankle joints feel today? Have you trodden on a slug recently in the garden? Ah, it's quite nice. I know it's a bit of a black humour, but it really makes you think, ugh! It gets a little bit more energy into that shake if you're trying to shake away something you shouldn't be. Little flick of the knee. Whatever you trod on is a little sticky and needs a bit more power to flick it off. Ah, that's it. Ah, 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 ah. And as you get up to the hip, let a little come out. So it's a that's it. That rubbish in the hip, you're kicking it down the leg and out through the heel. That's it. Oh, and now I can reveal my head again. We'll do the upper body shakes. Oh, shaking. Oh, and however you like to imagine that shake. You know, if you're a bit of an extrovert, imagine you've got an audience and you just, you know, doing a thumbs up at the men in white coats. Oh, shaking the wrists. Let the shake come from the crown of the head. Ah, let the shake come up through the wrists, across the elbows, across the shoulders, move the air in the chest, and really let the And although it's not part of the official exercise, that's sort of almost like wiping down. You've had a lovely, refreshing cold shower and makes you want to have a good shake. And if life is feeling stuck, have a good shake. Shaking clears procrastination, clears writer's block, helps the creative chi, the way of viewing round obstructions, flow a bit more freely. Let's calm down. Putting the feet back down. Letting the arms hang. All that shaking will bring the chi up into the chest. So don't put any energy into taking it away from the chest, but simply take your attention down to the belly. Soft breathing in the belly. Breathing in, replacing, recharging. Breathing out, releasing. Arms just hanging wherever the muscles want to let them hang. That's good. So we're going to do some stalking. Inspired by a recent walk down to Chichester Harbour to Cobner and seeing the little egrets behaving in a very strange way. Usually they're solitary, but these were gathering in small groups, and I understand that happens when they're breeding. Anyway, before we start the formal exercise, if I just take that camera down to my feet, we'll just think about the intention behind the exercise, which is to move carefully, really feeling the earth, but without causing too much disturbance around us. So the image of the stork is that you're standing in shallow water And you're just shifting your weight from one foot to the other. One foot comes up, trying not to disturb the water, not to scare the fish. It just touches, and a little step out, pushing your foot down through the shallow water onto the bed of the whatever Chichester Harbour without creating ripples. And then we change sides, lifting, just touching, and very gently, carefully, mindfully changing feet, not creating ripples. A little bit of knowledge sometimes interferes with imagination. When I was trying to find out a bit more about little egrets' behaviour, I discovered that actually when they lift their feet and place their feet in the water, they don't do it very carefully so as not to frighten the fishes. They actually deliberately wiggle their feet to stir up the silt at the bottom of the water they're standing on and reveal their food. But we have to let a bit of poetic license get into our movement. We're not going to disturb the silt. All right. So on that basis, I'll turn my back on you, which is always quite an element of trust that the tripod won't collapse and that you won't suddenly freeze. So turning my back, you need about 6 feet in front of you, but most of this movement is from one side to the other. So you don't need to move forwards too far. Feet under the shoulders, starting in the Wu Chi position. So feel the bed of the stream, of the inlet that's under your feet. Allow the skyhook to lift you and lighten you. Arms just hang. Soft breathing in the belly. Again, that breathing in the belly keeps our center of gravity low. It makes balancing much more of an ease rather than an effort. So, the hands on either side, now your wings just open and the palms come to rest on the belly. And for the sake of this movement, let's all do the same thing. So I can say shift your weight over onto the right foot. Keep a sense of lightness, even though the weight is on the right foot. The skyhook is still keeping you extended, light, elegant, poised. And that left foot, just on its toe, comes up, just touches the water near your supporting foot and takes a small step out. Not too big a step. It's difficult to keep your balance and keep your roots. So all your weight goes forwards onto the front foot. Arms extend down in line with the spine, in line with the back foot. Fingers spread. Keeping the heel of the back foot firmly planted on the ground. And then the skyhook draws you back. Everything goes soft. The spine hangs, weight on the back leg, arms, wings, just hanging loose. But that front foot, not weight bearing, but still connected to the bed underneath the water. Skyhook brings you forwards, fingers spread, all the weight on the front foot. And then to change sides, you come back, front foot comes up onto its heel, you gather, swivel round, shift your weight, and again, just touch the water near your supporting foot and a small step out. And just let the skyhook draw your weight forwards over that front foot. Fingers spread. Breathe in all the weight comes back. Whole body just soft and hanging. Breathe out. All the weight goes forwards, fingers spread. Breathe in, gather, front foot on its heel, swivels round, step out to the left. Breathe out. Breathe in. Everything softens and hangs over the back foot. Breathe out. Fingers spread. Breathe in, gather, front foot on its heel, swivels round, step out to the right. Breathe out. Breathe in. Qi drops down. Breathe out. Qi drawn up. Breathe in and gather, front foot on its heel, swivels, step out to the left. Breathe out. Breathe in, just letting the arms hang. Breathe out. All the weight forwards. Breathe in, gather, front foot swivels on its heel, step out to the right. Breathe out. All the weight comes back as you breathe in, arms just hang. Breathe out as you're drawn forwards. Breathe in and gather, front foot on its heel, swivels, step out to the left for the last time. Breathe out. Breathe in, everything hangs soft. Breathe out, fingers spread. Breathe in and gather, front foot on its heel, swivels round. Step out to the right for the last time. Breathe out. And breathe in. Arms just hang. Breathe out. Fingers spread. And this time, to finish the movement, as you breathe in and gather, the front foot comes up onto its heel, but both feet swivel to bring you back into that shoulder width stance. Hands resting on the belly. Reconnecting with the sky, making sure the body is light, extended. Soft breathing in the belly. And then to finish this movement, I think we'll just lift that up a little bit more. Finishing the movement, it's that archetypal movement at the end of many Qigong movements where the hands make a small circle. And in effect, it's just saying, we finished. That's lovely. Just letting the arms hang, soft breathing in the belly. No longer a stork or a heron or a crane or an egret, or even some of you extroverts out there might have been a flamingo. Back to being a human. Have a little shake. It's a very formal exercise, and the more formal, you need a little jiggle afterwards. That's good. Let's bring that up a little tiny bit more. What's it like outside in your various places in the country? The rain is definitely getting heavier. Here we are, just in case. Bon. I did dance outside in the rain on Wednesday, but it was very hot and muggy. It's a bit, the temperature's a bit cooler now. Anyway, now it is 10 to. It's always nice in Qigong to balance something which is very formal and structured with something which is a little bit more free-flowing. And my two favourite movements are playing with Qi or the water movement of the 5-element form. And since there is so much water outside, I don't need to use my imagination much. So let's stand in a lake, all right? So you need space to your left and to your right. You don't need a lot of space in front and behind. And a comfortably wide stance. And that word comfortably is always, how does it feel if you shift your weight onto one hip or knee? It shouldn't be so wide that you think, oh God, I need to move quickly back to the other side. That's it. And the first stage of this is standing in the lake, feeling your feet safely on the bed of the lake. Make that water safe. On Wednesday afternoon, we did this movement, and one of the people said that she had really had to be quite courageous to do this movement because water was not her friend. She'd had some rather frightening experiences with water. So make it safe water, a swimming pool. Maybe if water up to your thighs still isn't safe, let the level of the water go down until it feels safe. And before we start moving, simply place the palms of your hands very, very gently on the surface of the lake, of the swimming pool. Calm sea, if you've been somewhere where the sea is calm and supportive. But just allow the mind to imagine, to feel the water against the palms of your hands. Very, very gently move your hands slightly from side to side. Like a child, how little movement can you create to still see those tiny ripples appearing around your fingers? To still feel the surface of the water against the palms of your hands. Perhaps there's a slight breeze bringing ripples in towards your hands. Just using this movement to really bring the water to life, to reality. That's it. All the time feeling the support of the water around your legs. Safe water, supportive water. Now, just let the hands begin to stop moving. Doesn't matter which hand, but one is going to rest on the ledge at the base of the spine. The back of your wrist, it's as if it's been velcroed there. And let the other hand, palm facing down, reach out as far as you feel stable, and when it feels you've gone as far as you can, then dropping that hand down into the water. Feeling the water against the palms of your hands, swirling between your fingers. Lifting your hand up, letting the mind see and feel those drops of water running down your arm, dropping off your fingers, splashing you on the face. What is your experience of water? Not my experience. Feeling the resistance of the water as you push your hand through it. Feeling the ease of your hand sliding through the air. making the movement as big or as small as your body needs in this moment. Allowing the moving hand to take a rest whenever the body needs. So the moving hand comes to rest on the ledge at the bottom of the spine, and the other hand has an opportunity to move, to feel the water against its palm, to feel the water trickling down your arm, to be a bit cheeky and mischievous and to splash you on the face. Let the body breathe in and out whenever it needs. Each arm doesn't need to do the same number of circles. Simply changing sides. If the moving arm begins to feel it needs a rest, or perhaps the resting arm begins to get bored and says, I want to go. Changing sides. And our mind's very good at noticing what we're doing. So we notice the moving hand, but just occasionally take your attention to the resting hand, the still hand at the base of the spine, resting on that ledge. Give the fingers a wriggle, making sure that resting hand hasn't become tight and rigid. It's soft, really resting. Changing sides whenever you need to. And we'll just do 4 more circles. Purifying, cleansing, refreshing. Add any other words or feelings. And at the end of your last circle, just let both hands come to rest on the ledge at the bottom of the spine, palms facing back. As always, just be real about how your shoulders feel. If that's too high a position for the shoulders, let that resting place be a little lower down so the shoulders feel safe and comfortable. And although it's not the end of the class, it might be the end for some people who have to leave after an hour. So just a little jiggle, feet back under the shoulders, a little formal jiggling with the hands resting against the small of the back, using the sky hook, the puppet string, to be the origin, the initiator of that jiggle. It lifts you, it drops you. Just letting any stuckness, for whatever reason, just be a little freer. And then let the movement reduce little by little, until it disappears. Keeping the hands resting against the small of the back. If you like a little knowledge, our hands resting against an area called the gate of fire. So it's like the rear access to the storehouse. And then let the arms hang. And have a little informal jiggle. That's it. All right. So let's do a couple of quite formal Duan exercises. And then I'd like to revisit, most of you are familiar with it, but we haven't done it for a while, the gathering chi from all directions. So, feet under the shoulders, knees soft. That's good. Arms just hanging. That's it. Always putting the roots down first. Once your roots are down, then you can extend upwards. And that extension upwards actually creates more trust in our roots. It allows any chi that's stuck in our head, in our chest, to descend more easily. Breathing in and out through the nose and the belly. So, I'd like to do two of the Duan Jin exercises that we don't do very often. One is a ritualized punch, and it's similar in intention to drawing a bow. We're drawing our energy out to a distant goal, a distant aim. We're not going to be pugnacious, but we're using the movement of the punch to allow our chi to go out beyond our reach. But we also have to make sure it comes back. Now, I think if I come, you don't need to see my feet much for this, but if I come a bit closer and turn sideways on, yeah, I think that would work quite nicely. Then you can see the movement a little bit more clearly. Oh, no, it's too attractive outside. Looking out of the window, that rain is too nice. We'll face that way. So, feet are under the hips. And part of the intention, when you're going into the stretch of the punch, there is a sort of almost psychotic, zealot energy. So none of this soft gaze energy. The eyes are bright, sparkling, intent on where you're directing your chi. But when you relax, the eyes soften again. So, feet are quite narrow under the shoulders. And the palms come up, and then you create a Qigong fist. So Qigong fist is when the knuckle of the thumb sticks out. So not like a conventional punch. I haven't punched anyone for years, but in fact, I don't think I ever punched anyone. Didn't know what a punch really was. But the knuckle of the thumb sticks out. And hopefully there's not so much rust in your thumb that you can't squeeze. There we are. So it's that sort of movement. So, palms face up. Qigong fist closing the fingers over the first joint of the thumb. And then you pull both fists back as you drop down. So the knees bend. It's quite nice to experiment with that movement. As you pull the elbows back, you can't help but drop into a more powerful position. That's it. Lovely. Now, one hand begins to be drawn forwards like a very slow, stylized punch. As it's drawn forwards, the hand just has to roll over. So the knuckles point up, and there's a certain point where you can't go forwards anymore. And then the other hand pulls back, so the shoulders rotate, allowing that punch to reach out to the horizon. In this position, the eyes are bright, wide, excited. You're extending your chi towards a goal. And then breathe in, the extended fist comes back, the other fist begins to go forwards, they roll round each other in that midpoint and reach out. And again, let the shoulders rotate to allow that arm to reach out further. Eyes bright, letting your gaze go out over the knuckles of your fist, out to that distant horizon. Breathe in. Eyes soften, chi comes back to your core. Hands rotate round. Breathe out. pushing forwards, but this hand that's coming back to the waist pulls back to allow that forward arm to go further forwards. And breathe in. Face soft as the hands rotate past each other. Eyes bright as you drop down. You're still letting the spine be soft. The shoulders are rotating. You're not leaning forwards and losing your roots. You're still hanging. Breathe in. Fists rotate past each other. And breathe out. Eyes wide. Excited. And breathe in. Gaze softens. Fists rotate past each other. Breathe out. That out breath allows your chi to be extended. And breathe in. This is the last movement. Eyes wide, excited as you breathe out, letting that chi extend out to the horizon. And so easy to forget that it's a combined movement, pulling back to allow that front arm to go forwards. And this time breathe in, come back to the center, the fists open, and just pause with the palms facing up. Widen your stance back to shoulder width stance. Reconnect with the soles of your feet, receiving that support from the earth. Reconnect with the sky hook, lightening, extending. Soft breathing, taking your awareness of the breath down to the belly. And once the awareness is in the belly, breathing in, recharging, breathing out, releasing, we again make that small circle of the hands. We finished. And let the hands hang. Another couple of soft breaths in the belly. Again, always soft, not breathing so deeply the belly becomes tight and tense. And then have a little wriggle and a jiggle. Ah, good. Ah, ah. Although it's not necessarily a pugnacious movement, one that sort of makes you want to have a fight, if you're feeling a bit frustrated, if someone just hasn't been listening to you and you sort of leave a room thinking, oh, for goodness sake, that ritualized punch is a good way of just really helping the chi begin to flow a little bit more freely. Ah, and let's come back to the center, Wu Chi position. So, gathering chi from all directions, I'll move further back so that you can see the lower part of my body and the upper part. But again, you need good space around you so you're not going to clip or have to restrict where your hand goes. And again, if you get lost, the intention is simply reaching out and asking any of your chi that's out there that's not in the reservoir to come back home. You're not getting into a fight with it. So there may be some chi out there with someone you really care for, or a situation that's really difficult where it's not ready to come back, but give it the opportunity. And it may be that during the movement, your mind goes to a particular place and you just want to pause in the movement and giving that chi just a little bit of time to come back if it wants to. All right. So, I shall turn my back on you. Let's just make sure as much of me is available as possible. That's it. Too far to the back of this room and I clip my fingers on things and sideways. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I think turning my back is easier because then you don't have to mirror what I'm doing. Feet as wide apart as you feel comfortable. Hands make a gathering movement and come to rest, one hand on the other on the belly. And for the sake of us all moving in the same way, place your left hand on your right hand. So when you turn your hand so the palm is facing upright, the left hand is underneath your right. And that left hand is going to scoop chi up from the earth, bring it back to the belly, and then the hand slides around your waist. And it's at this point where I turn my back round. I can just have a quick glimpse at all of you. Now that upturned palm only is as upright as your body enables. Reach back, reach to your left, reach in front. Don't force the body into a position that causes discomfort. Reaching above, back to your left, in front, and the movement finishes with that upturned hand, that upturned palm, just touching the crook of your right elbow. That's good. Like a collecting plate, you're reaching out and inviting your chi to come home. Unwinding, reaching to the left, above, behind. And that collecting plate touches the small of the back, slides round the waist, and your left hand now rests on the palm of your right hand. So your right hand is able to scoop chi up from the earth, bring it back to the belly, and just slide round the waist. Again, out of the corner of my eye, I'm just looking to check that you're all okay. Reaching backwards, sideways, in front. Just in the space, in the moment, you're gathering the chi from around you in this space, in this time. Collecting plate touches the crook of the left elbow, reaches forwards, unwinds. Collecting plate touches the small of the back, slides round the waist, and now your right hand is resting on your left hand. So that first two movements, one to the left, one to the right, is about being here, being now, just collecting the chi that surrounds you. The next two movements we can move in time and space. So that left hand is underneath the right, you scoop chi up from the earth, bring it back to the belly, slide round the waist, and just reaching out beyond wherever you are in space, situations, people, bringing back the chi that powers the emotion connected with a time or a place or a situation. Collecting plate touches the crook of your right elbow, unwind. Not denying an emotion or a feeling, simply bringing back the fuel that powers it. Letting the hand slide round the waist, left hand on right, right hand now scoops chi up from the earth, slides round the waist. And where can you reach to? Where does that arm extend to beyond the walls of the space you're in, beyond the time of the moment you're in? Backwards to past events, Plate touches the crook of your left elbow, unwind. Forwards to imagined, planned events. Plate touches the small of your back, slides round the waist. Right hand rests on left. We're going to do the same movement to the left and the right again, traveling in space and time, letting our reach go beyond this moment, go beyond this space. Letting the plate rest at the crook of the right elbow, unwinding. Letting the plate rest at the small of the back, slide round the waist, left hand on right. Right hand scoops chi up from the earth. Reaching out. Collecting plate touches the crook of the left elbow, unwind. Collecting plate touches the small of the back, slides round the waist. Right hand resting on left. Now the last two movements, we're back in this space, in this moment. Not going somewhere else, not traveling, simply here. So reaching down, collecting chi from the earth, bringing it back to the belly. Just taking that upturned palm around the body, inviting any chi that happens to be loitering around us to come back home. Plate touches the crook of the right elbow, unwind. Plate touches the small of the back, slides round the waist, left hand on right. Right hand, last movement, scoops chi up from the earth. And just invites the chi around you to come back home. Collecting plate touches the small of the back, unwind. Collecting plate touches the small of the back, slides round the waist, right hand on left. Bring the feet back under the shoulders. Just keeping those palms up. It's like you're just gently cradling the chi that you've been collecting. And then to close the form, that closing the cupboard doors maneuver. So the arms just reaching out, tucking the chi up in the storehouse, keeping it safe, but available, not locked up. Hands just relax, soft breathing in the belly. Sky hook keeping you light, extended. And my breath particularly seems to be right up in the chest. So I'm having to just put a little bit more effort into helping the chi be in the belly. Breathing in, recharging. Breathing out, releasing. And as always, just a little jiggle, not really stirring things up, but just a little bit of a, that's good. Lovely. Now, we've got just enough time to really settle our chi down. You know my favorite movement, which is touching the floor with both hands. It's such a powerfully physical movement, but also powerfully energetic. It says, we're finishing. It helps the energy come down from the head. It's good at night time if you can't sleep. On a hot summer's muggy evening, instead of tossing and turning, go downstairs and do this movement. So, first off, just check the arm movement, that butterfly stroke. Only up as far as you can smile. Don't let my voice tempt you beyond smile. The hands come down and you're lowered. You're lowered from the crown of the head, and the sitting bones connect with that lovely, big, bouncy ball. Make the ball too low, your muscles in your thighs go rigid. So only as low as you can still bounce. Breathe in. Back as far as you can smile. Up as far as you can smile. At your highest point, just pause, let the belly soften and breathe out. Skyhook lowers you down, still hanging from the crown of the head, and the sitting bones being supported by that bouncy ball. Breathe in and back and up and up. Belly softens, skyhook lowers you down. Oh, it's always such a delight to feel that support, the earth coming up, supporting you in the form of that ball. Breathe in and back and up and up and up. Belly softens. Breathe out. Skyhook lowers you down. And don't make the ball too small. Even if it's only half an inch you drop down, that's fine. Breathe in and back and up and up. Belly softens and skyhook lowers you down. Oh, that support under the sitting bones whenever you need it. Breathe in and back and up and up and up. Belly softens, skyhook lowers. And wherever your body needs, that ball is there, ready to support you. And the last movement, breathe in and back and up and up. Belly softens and skyhook lowers. Shoulders soft, elbows hanging. That support under your bottom. And to finish, breathe in, not so far back, not so far up, and just let the chi take your arms down. Arms hang, soft breathing in the belly. Just plant your roots, make sure you're here. Your roots are on the earth in this space. Arms hanging. Use that lovely movement that brings chi down from the chest and the head to support that breathing in the belly. And then our little ritual of lifting our roots, getting ready to move off into whatever space, whatever activity we're going to do. Just shifting your weight. Just imagine you're being repotted. If it's easy, finding the button on your device to create gallery view. Hey, there we are. That's better. And difficult with 2 rows. I don't know if it appears the same on yours as mine, but I've got 3 people and 3 people. So trying to create that sense of us all standing in a circle, all in the same space, virtual space, but we're sharing space. Bringing the hands up to create that ball of qi. And then sliding your hands behind each of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls, and very gently pushing them together. Actually 7 balls of qi being pushed together to create one shared 7-person ball of qi. Fingertips just create a fold in the surface, make a fist. Breathe in, and very gently to begin with, pulling towards you, feeling the other 6 people pulling, stretching, expanding that qi. Relax, the belly softens, the palms face forwards, and breathe out, squeezing. Again, feel the other people in the circle squeezing and compressing with you. Hands relax, fingers create a fold in the surface of the qi. Breathe in and stretch. A little bit more power now. We know what the circle can do. Really expanding that qi. Belly softens, palms open. Breathe out. That out breath gives us the strength to compress, to refine, to purify the qi. Hands relax, fingers create a fold. Last stretch, breathe in. Really feeling everyone in the circle pulling, stretching, expanding. Belly softens, palms open. And breathe out, squeezing, compressing, refining. And when you can squeeze no further, just let the hands relax, slide your hands on top, and the relaxed weight of all our hands, our arms, takes the qi down into the earth.